More, please. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do, I have the cow here because for my example, I built not only, I live in this lean world, I don't have the luxury of well-paying clients. A lot of my clients are scrappy startup people with very little money, so I'm used to sticking a lot of things together. What I did is I put this, can you go to the next slide, Sarge? I built this CowTrip application. This is a commuting app that I talked at the Baltimore Tech Breakfast because I wanted to put my money where my mouth is and prove that I can build a startup company. Okay, so here's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about crowdsourcing, some experiences I have, failures, and any questions you guys have. Next. Okay, so this is what I use crowdsourcing for. I talk about the creative piece, building an MVP, marketing, and some crowdfunding stuff that you'll hear me talk about. All right, so we're going to go ahead with the creative piece first. Okay, so I needed to build some kind of cow logo. I'm a terrible artist, but I wanted a cow driving. So I entered this thing on 99 Designs. I said, this is my logo. I want a cow driving in a car. I got like 56 submissions, 8 designers, and this is, of course, the one I selected right here. But I loved, for $300, I had tremendous variety. I paid people to build stuff for me, and it's the most awkward discussion in the world. I'm like, hey, can you change that? Hey, can you change that? Hey, can you change that? Then I'm like, never really happy with it. So this has allowed me to skirt that issue and really get a lot of variety. Next one is Picky Domains. I did this on Friday. I put $50 in. I'm building a Heroku team. This is just Ruby on Rails stuff. I'm building a Heroku team, and I wanted to get a good domain name. And it was easy, $50. I got some awesome submissions. People did research about Japanese warrior type names, ancient swords, and they put them in. It was really cool. So that was $50. So that's the creative piece I use for crowdsourcing. Okay, could you go to the next one? Okay, this is where it gets exciting. Mechanical Turks is amazing. At topcoder.com, I ran tons of software contests on this platform. This is a crowdsourcing platform. I'll get into that. And Ushahidi, this is another cool app. I'll explain. I didn't really use crowdsourcing for it. I kind of stole its crowdsourcing mojo and used it for my own purposes. Okay, so let's go to the next one. All right, so I went camping with my kid at Boy Scout camp, right? I'm like a horrible like father because I always hated Boy Scouts, right? I always hated this concept. So you know what? I'm like, hey, I'm going to go with my son. I had an awesome time. But one of the things they had was, hey, let's go look at these trees. Like, what kind of tree is that? I had no clue, right? Actually, Casey, would you mind turning the light on? I'm like a lights on kind of guy. Sure. All right, thanks. So, sorry, I know it makes it worse. But so we looked at these leaves, and I'm like, this sucks. I don't know what this thing is. So
all the other dads did though, right?
No, they didn't know either. So there was like one dad who knew, and I was like, oh God.
It's a northern birch.
My kid would look at me, right, and I'd be like. So what I said to this guy, I said to this guy and to myself, like, what if you could take a picture of this and somebody could tell you what that is? How cool would that be? What would that be worth? Then I thought, well, what about bugs? You could take a picture of a bug. How much would that be worth to you? So what I did is I put this plan together. I said, okay, well, I'll have someone take a picture. I'll have it send it to an email. I'll have a group of experts, and then, hey, the guy will know. Awesome, now I know what it is. Another application for this, well, I'll explain that later. So I had this great concept. I was going to build this Ushahidi platform. I was going to have, get the phone working, get all these things working. I said, you know what, screw it. I want to prove this concept out. So all I did was I did this piece right here. I did this Mechanical Turks. I said, forget the experts. I'm not going to call people up and say, hey, will you look at pictures for me? I mean, I'm weird enough. to make that call is like super weird. So what I did was I ran a couple experiments where I went around the neighborhood. I took pictures of trees that I knew what they were, like a maple. And then I submitted them to Mechanical Turks. I said, okay, I did 2 rounds. Okay, each task cost $1. So for I ran 3 tests. For $3. Only one of them got the correct answer. The second time I did it, same thing. But what I was able to do is I was able to validate that, yes, you can get right answers. Even though I was only 33%, I was able to validate, yes, this can work. And there's ways to build on top of this Mechanical Turks so you could get that cost down low. I put $1 in there because I really wanted to get my responses immediately, and I wanted to pay a lot. So that's kind of why I did it. But anyway, I have a blog. I'm just going to read all about it. But this is a really good way to validate that, hey, this process works. So there's one major piece I got out of the question. Mechanical Turks, I love it. I've never used it for a client, but I think it's just amazing. Okay, next. Okay, so topcoder.com, I ran tons of contests. If you are a lean startup, do not use this. Sorry, Topcoder. I love Topcoder. I know the president well. It's a great company, but this isn't what they do is they say, hey, look, here's a software problem. Go out and they do crowdsourcing. They push this problem out. They break it up into small pieces, and they have people build it. Why it doesn't work for a lean startup is because it's expensive. You're paying overhead. You're paying a project manager. It just turns out to be not such a great tool for lean startup. For industry, it's a great tool, but it doesn't work for lean. Okay, next. Okay, here's one I stole. We had a client that used Ushahidi, and they built an entire platform for like $10,000, $20,000 total. But this is really cool. This Ushahidi, this is a Kenyan company, and Ushahidi means witness or testimony. Usually they use crowdsourcing to track all sorts of events in the world. Like if there's an earthquake in Maryland, they'll set this up. People can email or use a cell phone to send messages in. Very cool. Why I like this for a lean startup is you can grab this model. I installed this. This is my own. I installed it in like an hour, and now I have a full geographic capability for free. So it's really an amazing tool. Okay, next. All right, marketing. I want to warn you guys. Okay, so like I said, I'm running CowTrip. I spent a few dollars. Okay, this Fiverr company is just amazing. They're out in California. $5 per gig. People will do all sorts of things for $5. I spent $200, and I've probably had the most fun I've had in years. We can click on this video. I'm not sure if they will work yet, but these are three of the better videos I have. And they're all saying something about CowTrip. This guy is an angry guy talking about CowTrip. This guy is telling you to save money by using CowTrip. This guy is just hilarious. It's 17 seconds, but it's really, really funny. But Fiverr.com, I mean, I had somebody write a letter to Harvard, a handwritten letter to a professor at Harvard for $5, and they drew it all out, and that was really neat. So Fiverr.com, you can get some really quirky videos. So that's a big one. Okay, next. Crowdfunding, Kickstarter. I put CowTrip on Kickstarter, and they rejected me. Like, I cried. But I figured out afterwards that their criteria is like a mystery. They don't really put web-funded platforms on that site. So I cried, but then I got even. I found another company. Actually, this is a plug. There's a whole bunch of crowdfunding sites out there. This is me at the Baltimore Tech Breakfast. So my plan is to take CowTrip, build a better video than this one, which is terrible, and I'm going to put this out, on a different ones and try to see how well our crowdfunding project will do. This is also a shameless plug because we built this Select 6 company, this crowdfunding company, but that's so it's a shameless plug.
How come you didn't do Indiegogo?
What's that?
Indiegogo.
We haven't done it yet. I haven't put it out there yet. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, so failures, advice, and stuff. Mechanical Turk's beautiful. I love this. It's amazing. I know there's a lot of time, requires planning, refinement, and really smart experiments. This is a true experiment like I've never seen before. This is like a laboratory, and for a few bucks, you guys can just go to town. 99 Design, still need a creative staff on hand. You can't outsource everything. I mean, you can't crowdsource everything. Don't run a bad contest. I saw a guy spend $500. He built like the worst logo. He's like, hey, how does it look? Because I gave him the advice, go there, but he just did a bad job of like weeding people out, and it didn't look that good. So you can run bad stuff. Okay, steer clear of topcoder.com. UTest for now. UTest is sorry, I didn't talk about that. I cut the slide out because I didn't want it to be long. UTest is a crowdsourcing platform for testing your app. Very expensive. $100 worth of crazy YouTube videos, and I just shrugged. I'm like, what did I do? Kickstarter failure. This is the web-based technology startups, and they don't explain why. If it happens to you, don't worry. It happens to a lot of people, but I think that it takes time to build the crowdsourcing aspect. Okay, but still, nothing beats having a dedicated. You still need your brain wrapped around a lot of these problems, even though you can use crowdsourcing. And there's like a ton of different sites that I haven't experimented with. If anybody knows of any crowdsourcing